y'all. My name is Jasmine Jones, and you are now watching Black Girl, Therapist in the Wild. And this is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing The Little Mermaid 2023, y'all. It's a black movie. We're doing black things. She is now a black princess, and so I am reviewing because, as you know, I mainly review black movies and shows because that's my people. And we were sipping on absinthe and cranberry juice. So I went to the Grove in Beverly Hills, and I went to the marketplace, and there's this little wine and cheese store, and they got all these little toppings and cheeses and mushrooms and sandwiches and all sorts, and they had absinthe, like for real absinthe. And I was just like, I'm going to try that because ever since I saw Moulin Rouge, it looked like a whole trip. And, you know, it gets you drunk. Like, I wouldn't call it a trip. Like they did it in Moulin Rouge, but, you know, it gets you fucked up. So, it's a vibe. Anyways, I've been gone, and now I'm back again. I think I liked not having extra things to do during the week for a little bit, so I just kind of took a break again. And you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you take breaks from shit. I got like 100 some videos on my YouTube channel, so hopefully y'all watched them and you enjoyed and viewed and things. But how y'all doing? So yes, I saw The Little Mermaid. It was so cute. Baby girl did a good job. Yes, she did, with her little cutesy self. Yes, God, honey. So I'm not gonna go and break, because we all seen The Little Mermaid. There's a few plot expansions, like, you know, Ursula and Trident, they finally said that they're related. Hopefully we get some kind of show past history of that. That would be marvelous. And basically Trident hates humans because they killed his wife and they trashed the ocean, and the mermaids are from all the seven seas, the daughters, and you know, they are upset at humans too for trashing the oceans. And this is just like, it looks from their clothes like it's the 1800s or some shit. So y'all, this is just the beginning for y'all. We're gonna fuck the shit up. Human beings are gonna throw all sorts of plastics and bullshit into that motherfucker and destroy everything, and it's a horrible thing. And so I feel it, girls. But I want to focus on the structures of the characters and their mental health and things like that. I will say the only thing I did not like about the movie is that at the very fucking end, I don't care, I'm going to say it, at the very fucking end, when I was waiting for her to walk up out that fucking water in that sparkly dress, because the dress is iconic, y'all. The dress is just the glitter and the fire, and then and then the dress formed on her as she was walking. Why would you remove that and make it so that she walks behind him in a raggedy ass dress with dirty feet? I'm confused why. The rest of the movie was great. Why did you remove the dress? I hope that there is an alternate ending when they post it on Disney Plus or whatever, where she walks up out the water with the fucking dress. I want to, what was the reason? And I feel low-key that they tried to play us with the red carpet dresses. You know, I thought before I saw the movie, it was hinting at the dress at the end. Like, oh, if this is what the red carpet dresses look like, then the dress at the end is going to be some amazing. No, they was doing that because they knew they was fucking wrong. I don't care. The dress is iconic. You cannot not have the dress, but the rest of the movie was good. I just had to get that off my chest because it was pissing me. That was like one of my favorite parts. That was one of the most magical parts of the movie for me as a kid, when the end would come and she would claw her way, not claw, but she would walk her way up out that water, and he pointed the thing, and as she slowly rose from the water, the dress formed, and it was light all on her, and then it turned into this blue sparkly crystal situation, and I was just like, that was the dress of my dreams. It's fine. We don't need to have we can disappoint the audience a little. The racists will already be disappointed. So there you go. I'm tired. Anyways, I'm just going to assume she's still 15. They don't mention her age because she was 15 in the original one. So I'm going to assume she's still 15. And so, she's still, the same Ariel, and she's just just wants to know about the upper world and all the amazing things in the upper world. And she got her little trove of treasures. And you know how when we're kids and we see the adults and we think and we glamorize the adults because we think that they can do more than us, which adults can, but adults are also responsible for shit too, that they would wish that they could go back and just be a kid again and not be responsible for. So adulthood sucks. It's not that great. So first of all, she a kid. And she's just so excited about this upper world with all these human beings, and she's fantasizing and glamorizing it in her head, as children do, as and adults do it too. I'm not even going to be upset. We're in this developmental period where we're becoming an individual. We're trying to learn about who we are as a person. We're trying to separate ourselves from our family and things. You look at, what's the 8 to 24, where we're differentiating. We are becoming our own individual. We are seeking our place in our society and trying to understand ourselves and cement ourselves and be looked up to by folks in our society and things like that. And so this is a stage where basically, kids think they're invincible. No, this is a developmental thing. Teenagers think they're invincible and they think nothing bad will happen to them. That's why they do so many reckless things and try so many things. So she's a full teenager. She feels like, oh, nothing bad will happen to me. And not all human beings are trash, daddy. And it's just like, I see where daddy's coming from, honey bunch. I do, because you just gave up this pretty underworld land for this white man. You just changed your whole self for this white man. And if you know the true Little Mermaid story, the bitch dies because this nigga ends up marrying someone else. So yes, the origins are very toxic, and this has a slight sprinkling of toxicity because why are we changing ourselves? So what they did in this one was make them compatible. So they basically gave him a personality of, I want to not feel entrapped in my castle. So she felt like attached to him because she felt trapped in her castle and things like that, because they made the prince where he was adopted by this black queen on this island country or whatever. It's giving Caribbean vibes and things and such. They did this thing where basically he just showed up on the shipwreck baby situation. And I just feel like that's an opening for a potential sequel. Like, where the baby come from? Who this is? Potential sequel depending on how good the movie is. And so like they made them just a little bit more like their personalities match. They kind of knew a little bit more about each other, or she at least knew a little bit more. There was a reason why she attached herself to him, and it just not being cute, because him being cute or whatever. Because in the original movie, it was just him. He was cute and he danced on the ship. And then she saved his life and she thought he was beautiful. And then his statue went to the bottom of the ocean in her little treasure trove cave situation. And then she fell in love with his face. So they made it more emotional and heartfelt, where he felt trapped because his mom didn't want him going across the seas, finding shit and having adventures, and because she was scared of the sea gods and she believed in the mer people and believed that they were sinking ships and shit like that. And so she's seeing this and she's just like, oh, my daddy keeps me locked up inside too in this ocean, and he doesn't want me to go above the ocean. And got a whole world of ocean though. I mean, she's young, and daddy wasn't handling it well, having whole temper tantrums and things. It was very controlling, very emotionally abusive. Sometimes we can just be emotionally abusive around a specific trigger. So it's not like a consistent, like, I'm manipulating you all the time and making you feel a type of way all the time. And so sometimes we are just emotionally abusive around a specific trigger. And if our child does those things or goes near the trigger, then all hell breaks loose and we turn into a whole different bitch. Like, I think he was controlling and a little aggressive overall just because of his personality. But the way he was acting about her going above water and shit, that was a whole other level. So I don't think he was like all the way just like, oh, he's just controlling and doesn't want his daughters to do shit. Like, he got his older daughters just spread across the world in all different seas, minding they fucking business, doing what they want. So if they low-key wanted to go above water and do what they wanted to do, he wouldn't have known about it. You know what I mean? And so, I'm just like, sometimes we can just be controlling around specific topics. Like, I've had clients, like children, whose parents have had like sexual abuse or something in their childhood, and so are overly protective of their child. Like, they can't go nowhere by themselves. They can't go to the bathroom by themselves. But any other thing, any other topic, the kids can do what the fuck they want. They can be little individuals and learn and grow and change and do all this. So they're not necessarily abusive all around. It's just around a specific topic. And so that's what was happening here. But this topic was at the forefront of her mind because she felt confined and she didn't want to just be in the ocean. She wanted to learn about the upper rooms and what they do up in the upper rooms and shit, just talking about, that all the humans aren't evil. But the way she was saying it made me feel like she was coming at it like she ain't never seen a human be evil in her fucking life. When her mama died, she was a baby. She didn't know. And so she ain't never seen these niggas killing and eating people and fish and eating these motherfuckers and stuff. Like, she knows that they do. And she probably like ducked her head up above water. She knows they fish, and she probably bumped her head above water to see them hanging the fish up, and things like that. But I don't think she knew the full extent of if these people catch a cryptid. That's mythical creature, a cryptid. What they would do to the said cryptid. It's between kill it and then sell its bodily fluids and bones and muscles and skin and scales because they think it has magic in it, or put it on display and trap it so that it never can leave anywhere. She doesn't understand the full extent of what these niggas do above land. She just knows that they killed her mama. She ain't seen it. So, she's living in some fucking fantasy land as a 15-year-old. Understandable, she's young. But her daddy is going overboard, and that's why she ended up making stupid ass decisions, because he just is like, you can't force your kids to do things that they don't want to do. I think it's partially because kids feel they're invincible. Teenagers specifically. That fuels the need to rebel against parents when they tell them no. And because there's a disconnect between this can kill me. There's a disconnect. Like, no, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna do what I want to do. It's like, no, honey bunch oats, you can't do what you want to do, girl. You gotta stay in the house because these niggas is evil, girl. But she had to find out for herself. I wish she didn't have to find out as a 15-year-old, because when you get older, you realize that, oh, I wish I could have stayed a kid longer than when I started learning about the adult things, because you just become more and more disillusioned and disappointed as time goes on. And at the end, when she roll off with her nigga and shit and she see the rest of the world, she gonna really see how fucked up people can be. And I don't know, because in the sequel to the movie, to the cartoon, like, she didn't want to go back in the water. She was that traumatized by what her daddy did and all the experiences. She didn't want her daughter to go back in the water. This is the sequel to the cartoon when she had her daughter. I ain't watched that because they may do a sequel to this movie where she got a daughter and shit. And it made sense. She had trauma. She didn't want her daughter to go in the water, but her daughter wanted to go in the water. So she went in the water and she decided to live in the water, and mama lived on land and all this other shit. But you just pass and he passed the trauma down to her. So now she was scared to go in the water in the sequel. I don't know how this movie gonna end up, if there's gonna be a sequel, if that's gonna be the same, but it would make sense. Or it would make sense that she just saw so many horrors on land that she just was like, oh no, y'all is up here eating and killing and murdering and slaughtering. I mean, it didn't look like they was doing what humans do underwater. It didn't look like they were eating and killing and murdering and slaughtering and warring. It looked like they were trying to keep the oceans clean and chill and have a good time and eat seaweed and just relax. And of course, the circle of life, there's going to be the predators that eat the prey to keep the circle of life alive. But we don't kill at excess and do all those extra things. You know what I mean? So this nigga gonna have a whole temper tantrum just like an original. Blow her spot up, blow her statue up, all this shit. And it's just like, nigga, you look crazy. You look crazy. No, when you look like you are about to when you look like chaos, uncontrolled chaos. I mean, that's an oxymoron but there can be uncontrolled chaos. It's like wabi sabi. The imperfection makes it perfect. Then people think you're crazy. And they think there's something wrong with you and you're going to hurt everybody. And so that's what I mean. So back to when I say crazy. I know people are just like, oh, you're a therapist. Why do you say crazy? And that's derogatory. No, crazy is those people that are out here indiscriminately hurting people and justifying it, and they will never be fixed. Like the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world, the child molesters, the pedophiles, the serial rapists, the people that, will never admit. And if they do admit, it's usually just a manipulation tactic. They can never be healed. Those are the crazies. And you need to stay away from them because they can never be healed. They're narcissists, sociopaths, things like that. They can never be healed. And so when you do things where you act like you could be sociopathic or whatever, histrionic or whatever, people think you're crazy. And so he was looking like something was wrong with him, blowing shit up, destroying the spot. That was her happy place. You can't see, people keep seeing kids as an extension of themselves, like your fingers. Those are all my children. They're my fingers. I can move them and like, no, children are people. They're and people forget their own childhood. Like, you don't remember being your own person when you were a kid? You don't remember having your own thoughts and feelings about what your parents would say to you? Yeah, maybe you couldn't say nothing about it, but it's still, you felt it. Like, I can remember as young as 6 and 7 when I would just look at shit and situations and be like, I even recognized when at the youngest age, because my mom worked nights at the post office and she had like mental health issues and shit like that. And she was just like tired all the fucking time and sad all the fucking time. And I clocked that shit around 6 or 7 and I wouldn't know what it meant. I was just like, why is she, what's happening? Like, you see it and you don't like it, but you don't know what it means because nobody's talking to you about it. Nobody's like, no, mommy has this, mommy's going through this, and nobody's saying like anything about anything. And so you're feeling all the feelings, but you have no words for them. So you express them in physical ways or lashing out or anger or being a brat or whatever. And then you got some of them really empathetic children that are just really caring and, sees the sadness in their parent and wants to help them. And then sometimes they turn into people pleasers when they grow up because they feel like they had to be the parent and stuff, and a lot of times a parent doesn't mean for the kid to turn into their parent, but it just kind of happens because the parent is always like got some shit going on and stuff like that. But I wasn't one of them kids. I was a brat. I didn't know what the fuck was happening. So, nobody was explaining shit to me. I didn't know what the fuck mental health was. I just knew she was sad and something was happening and I was frustrated. And so, it was what it was. But even at that young age, I knew I had my own thoughts and feelings. So when I am dealing with children, I treat them like another person. Like, you're a person. You have feelings and thoughts, and there are reasons why you do the things you do. So I'm going to talk to you about it and, see what's going on. I saw this TikTok on Facebook the other day, and it was this boy, and he was telling his mom that she was the worst parent ever. and she could forget Mother's Day, and she called his dad over because I guess they co-parent, and the dad was just like, why would you say that to your mom? Well, you can forget Christmas, you can forget. And I was just sitting there like, why would he say that? Like, what did she do? Like, I'm thinking, what did she do to make her a bad mom? Like, you need to be talking to him. Maybe he feels unheard, maybe he feels like nobody cares about him, but you ain't asking him the right questions. You just worried about like the thing that he did instead of the why did he do it. And I'm just like, you need to see your children as people, because just like B. Smith chose not to have children and then married a fucking bum and then ended up with Alzheimer's, and that nigga put a white woman, his white girlfriend, in the house with her while she had Alzheimer's, and then no one was there to fight for her or take care of her or anything like that. If you do have children and you mistreat them, they will abandon you in your old age when you're decrepit and you need help and you need somebody to support you and take care of your estate and things like that. They will abandon you. It's not funny. It's the absinthe. They will leave you and you will be some old 70-year-old, either homeless, in the hospital, or if you luck up, they may put you in a home. And if you luck up even more, they may put you in a nice home. That's what I'm talking about. People don't think about their old age. That shit is scary. That shit is scary. I've seen older people that they kids abandon them and they just sitting up in a home. Ain't nobody coming to visit them. And I'm just like, well, you shouldn't have like made your gay son homeless when he was 15. Like, he had to like live on the street and, you know, as a child, and fend for himself and become a sex worker or whatever he had to do to survive. And the only person that he thought cared about him basically abandoned him to that life. And so you looked up and got in the home. Look at you. A win is a win. At least he came through and put you somewhere where you could he had enough empathy and love for you to put you somewhere. Okay? Cause, no, you can't be treating your kids fucked up. Like, you gotta like validate the things that they enjoy. You gotta validate who they are as people. Now, even if they enjoy shit that is dangerous, like let's say your 12-year-old wants a tattoo. What I would do was I would sit down and we would watch YouTube videos of people getting tattoos, like the grimy shit, like the blood is just fucked up. And I'd be like, see, that's what happens when you get a tattoo. It hurts a lot. There's a lot of blood. They're not going to do it to a child. And if they do it to a child, they're not a professional. And so what happens is, if they're not a professional, their tools may not be sterilized. And then what can happen is you could get an infection and your arm could fall off. See, you gotta, it's the truth. And so, you know, this is probably not what's going to happen with you being 12. But, you know, when you 18, I'll take you to get the tattoo and shit. I'm not going to get one because I don't like needles, but I'll take you. It's fine because I don't really care about shit. Like if you want to dye your hair pink, I'll let you dye your hair pink at 12, but you ain't getting no fucking tattoos and face and belly piercings and all sorts of other shit. Like, you get your ears pierced. You know, but first I think I would start off with just, why do you want a tattoo? Tell me. What is a tattoo going to do for you? Well, I saw this rapper on TV and he had a teardrop on his face and it was so fantastic and I want to be like him. Okay, let's watch some videos of people getting teardrops on their faces and watch the blood and if that gets infected, let's look at a picture of what it looks like when a tattoo gets infected and a hole forms. You know, I will escalate the shit because I believe that if you just inform the children, they may not want to do these things anymore. You give them the reason why, you know, and the thing is, I won't escalate unless you're adamant. So at first I'll just talk to you about it. Like, that's for adults. And maybe when you get older, we can go do them. But no, I want it. Okay, then you want one. Okay, let's watch a video about it. Let's learn about it. Okay, see how that looks like it hurts. Yeah, but I can stand pain. That's just a little bit of blood. Okay, let's look at what happens when it gets infected. See, I escalate as you continue to want to do this because that's how I learn. My mom sat me down. She didn't explain shit to me. I was just watching movies. We would sit up and watch movies that, you know, were probably not appropriate for children. Horror movies, action movies, all types of movies. Because she was just a cinephile and shit. And she would just be sitting up watching movies all the time. And so that's what I did with her. And so I learned from watching movies the things that I would like to do and the things that I did not like to do. I learned not to talk to strangers from watching Lifetime movies. I was like, oh, so a nigga come up to the park and give you candy. That means they want to snatch you into a van and murder you. Okay, no. And I'm not saying it's right. And people can do it their own ways. They don't have to do all of the extras and show the pictures because, you know. But that's just what I would do because that's what I do with my clients. Like, I don't go that deep because they ain't my kids. But like, I've had clients where they had hygiene problems and they were like maybe on the spectrum or something. So like people on the spectrum, like sometimes they don't feel dirt and stickiness on their body like other people, like neurotypical people do. So like I basically got some pictures of like dirt rashes off of Google. And I showed this child pictures of dirt rashes. I was like, see, that's what happens when you let the dirt pile up on your body. It starts to clump up like that on that person's skin. And then it starts to turn into a rash. And then it starts to turn into a sore that could get infected because more dirt is. That child took baths every fucking day. And they weren't scared. They were just like, oh, I didn't know that. You know, you just present it to them in a way that isn't scary, isn't accusatory. It's kind of like y'all just sitting down and watching a documentary and they may ask some questions and you just answer the questions. Like, does that always? No, it doesn't always happen. But if somebody is going to give a tattoo to a 12-year-old, then they're not going to be a licensed tattooist. They're going to be somebody that probably doesn't have sanitary, you know, tools. And then that's when that happens. That's when that's most likely to happen because you're not supposed to give tattoos to children. That's illegal. You know, but what we could do, so also you can offer alternatives. What we could do is we can get them tattoo markers. They got these newfangled tattoo markers that like last a long, and we can draw a nice little tattoo on you and they last for like a couple months or something. And you can have you a little fake tattoo. There you go. You know what? I might just skip all of the information and just do that, you know, because it's like that's if it gets to the extreme, like the child want to sneak out and find somebody to do. And then it's like, if we just stay at the simple, explain why you can't have a real tattoo now and give an alternative. There you go. But sometimes, like, because other people will go, when the kid gets too extreme with the behavior, they'll go to the extreme and try to hurt them physically or emotionally or something. I just go to the extreme and show you what can happen if you do this. So we're just going to keep going up the ladder so you can really understand why you shouldn't do. No, I'm not going to show kids, you know, being kidnapped or murdered or nothing like that to no child. I'm just showing them stuff like, this is what happens when you do crack. This is what happens when you do, you know, heroin. You know, you see them marks on their arms. That's from the needles and stuff that they stick in there. And then we'll sit and we talk about drugs and what drugs can do. Because that's what we did in health class and shit like that. I'm trying to explain it because I don't want y'all to think I'm crazy. And I'm just out here trying to scare children and shit. No, like you got to sit down and explain. Basically what I'm saying is you have to sit down and explain the reason why you don't want the kid to do the stuff when they get to a certain age where they can understand the reason why. When they're young and they're toddlers, they can't talk and stuff like that. You just have to kind of redirect them. Give them options for that they can do something else. If they really want to wear, you know, their bathing suit to school, you can say you can't wear your bathing suit, but here are 2 different outfits that you can wear. Or you can pick the outfit from your regular clothes that you would like to wear instead of the bathing suit. You know, shit like that. So what Triton could have did was he could have just basically like, okay, let's turn into humans and we will take 30 minutes once a week to just walk around in the land. But he was too scared because he was traumatized. So Triton was traumatized. He had PTSD from his wife dying and stuff like that. So I'm guessing she birthed different variations of babies because he only mentioned one woman. And all the girls were talking about one mother, and so I'm guessing he wasn't a hoe. Mermaids got magical, colorful rainbow sperm or some shit. You shut the fuck up. And so he birthing all different sorts of types of babies and shit. And he was traumatized. Like he was so that was why he had that reaction in her little treasure trove situation. And then they haven't really gotten into what the rift was between Triton and Ursula. I know she's a sociopath. That woman wants to control everything. And I don't know if because Ursula wanted to Triton, and Triton said to Ariel that she likes to cause mischief between humans and mer people. So she like Loki, but it sounded like it was more than that. It sounded like, maybe she wanted to see a war pop off between them. Maybe she didn't like the humans either, but she was more extreme with it, where she wanted to blow them motherfuckers up. And he wouldn't let her blow the motherfuckers up. So she basically was like, no, I'm going to force your hand so I can blow these motherfuckers up. Or maybe she just wanted to rule the earth and the sea. They never really went into what her motivation was to be fucked up. Sometimes you don't need motivation. Sometimes, like being a sociopath, like you just are that. You just have no feelings, no care. You just like to cause issues and watch. You like to build them up, stack them up, and knock them down. That's all you like to do, because that makes you feel things, and nothing else makes you feel things. So it could just be that too. But Ursula, she been like peeping Ariel and shit, peeping like the fact that Ariel is like super independent and super impulsive, and she want her own shit and she want to go above land. So basically she sent her little lackey Flotsam and Jetsam and shit. I'm gonna remember the names of this motherfucker. This is nostalgic, okay? Flotsam and Jetsam, yes. And I still wish, although whatchamacallit did a good job as Ursula, she really did. I still wish it was Queen Latifah, but we can't have too many black leads in this. I'm assuming, like, we can't have too many black leads. So whatever, girl. And I guess they said, oh, we had her for the musical, so we don't need her in this. And they should have had Queen Latifah as Ursula. I don't give a fuck. You just didn't. I think white folks that make these movies, they feel like if they have too many black people in it, it becomes like a fully black movie, and they don't want it to become a fully black movie. So they just basically are like, no, we want to keep it open for everybody to da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, but like, when you do Asian movies and you do movies like Coco and shit like that, it's a fully Latin and a fully Asian movie. I mean, yeah, we got Black Panther, but check it. Latin folks got Encanto. They got, whatchamacallit, Coco. They got the little Latin princess that's on Disney Kids. And I'm guessing more black people are coming. Like, we got Ariel is black and stuff. So I'm not like trying to hate. I'm just like, hurry up. I want to see more black people with black people doing black people things. Hurry up. That's what I'm saying. Like, And so, like, Ursula, she tapped Ariel on the shoulder. She like, Ariel, come here. And Ariel's like, what you want? And she was like, Ariel, you want to go upstairs? And she was like, yeah, I do. And she was like, I can help you get upstairs. And she was like, what you gonna do for me? And she was like, oh, you just gotta give me your voice and shit. She didn't even have her sign the contract. They didn't have to take these iconic things out. The contract was... She didn't even have her sign the contract. She pulled off a piece of her scale, took her voice, and sent her upstairs. The contract was necessary. It's just like in the Matilda musical. Okay, you take away the cake, fine. We don't need the cake. But you cannot take out the brother, for one, and then take out the reason that Miss Trenchball, whatever her name was mad at that dad. You can't take that reason out. Or was mad at Matilda. You can't take that reason out. She was mad at Matilda because the dad sold her a fucked up car. You just gonna have her be mad at Matilda because the parents were talking shit about Matilda? And that's it? No, she was mad at the whole family, and she was taking it out on Matilda. That made more sense. You could have put that in a musical. But no, instead it was like, her parents were talking shit about her, so then, That's why she didn't like Matilda. It's like you got the contract, the physical contract. Like when you have magical shit like that, like contracts are solid. And I guess they thought blood was enough, but no. To have the physical manifestation of the contract and have her sign it while she's losing her voice and shit like that. Why do we have to take that out? Why do we have to take the dress out at the end? Whatever, it's fine. It's just little things. It was a good movie. I'm trying. I'm not upset. It was a good movie. It's just those iconic things. Like those are iconic things. Those are iconic. Like it's like if Ursula didn't have her drag makeup and look like Divine. She just looked like, regular purple face, and that's it. We decided that Ursula didn't need her makeup. It's like that. Like it's an iconic thing from a nostalgic movie. You can't just take it out and expect people not to notice. Okay, it's fine. Would have been fine about the contract if they hadn't taken the dress out. Say what I said. That dress. It would have been so magical live action. Should have came out that water just glowing and light. And what they could have CGI'd it. They got AI now. That's gonna take over Hollywood, and all the movies are gonna be AI, and all the script. Like y'all don't understand. It's just like the Matrix, y'all. Like I sound paranoid right now, but like check it. AI compiles other people's art into whatever it wants to compile it into, right? It can't make its own art, but it can compile. You got centuries worth of novels, plays, scripts, fan fiction. There's an AI fan fiction website where you can put in your fan fiction idea and the AI will create it. Basically, you're giving the AI information to make a script and basically keep the writers out of Hollywood. Why we need writers? And it's like, why we need actors? Eventually the AIs we can just create, like they already got little mini clips now of AI movies and shit on TikTok and shit like that. Like y'all just, the hands are fine now. You remember when AI first came out and it was blob face and messed up hands, and now everyone looks like, poreless, perfect people. Yes. And no, they will not have the same soul as human actors. But who says that eventually they won't? I'm just saying. So they could have CGI'd that dress, whatever the fuck. So anyways, the girl took her voice, then the bitch went upstairs, and she just sitting up on a boat. I think the boat that she landed on, that was the original Sebastian, because it sounded like him. So I'm gonna say it is, unless it isn't, I'm gonna find it and maybe I'll put it on the side or some shit. But I think it was. And people are talking shit about the dude that plays Sebastian. It's the dude from whatchamacallit? What's that play? Hamilton. Sounds like Hannibal. Hamilton. And his voice is just smoother. It's smoother and don't hit as hard. And so it was cool, but ain't compared to the original dude that played Sebastian. It's not comparable. It's not even apples and oranges. Like it's a diamond and it's not a cubic zirconia. I don't want to say it's a ruby. I don't want to say it's a precious stone either. Maybe it's like a crystal. Maybe it's a Swarovski. Y'all know how I was trying to say Swarovski crystal. There you go. It's a diamond and a Swarovski crystal. It's still kind of sort of nice and precious, but it's not the same. The original Sebastian's a diamond. I don't know what you want me to say. They both can be made in a lab or in a, wherever they make Swarovski crystals and shit. I don't know how to say that shit. White people can't say black people names and other people color names, so I can't say Swarovski. Swarovski, I don't know. And so it's not the same, but it was good. Like it was good. Like it wasn't bad. It was just, it doesn't hit as hard. And so anyway, she upstairs. She on the boat. Here come Aquafina. No, because at the very least you could change your name. Like if anything at all, you can at least change your name, because it's fucked up that basically you have a name based off of you putting on a caricature of black people. You picked that Aquafina. Shut up. And I hate that Disney sucked her up, because now that bitch is rich and she get everything she fucking want while biting off of black folks and never, ever, ever, even acknowledging it. but actually defending herself and saying that, oh no, that's not, I grew up around black people. And why does the vernacular drop when you have certain interviews? Why does the vernacular drop when you, no, not even the movies, because you can pretend and you can have accents and do all whatever in movies, but when you have an interview, someone sound hood, they sound hood. I can sound professional and hood at the same time, just because that's how I talk, especially when I'm inebriated. So why in certain interviews, where's the vernacular? And yeah, black folks code switch. We code switch because of racism and microaggressions and shit. Why do you need to code switch? Oh, cause you're ashamed? I thought you said that's how you talk. I religiously, it's not. I hate the bitch. I don't care. But we're just gonna scooch over Scuttle. I don't care. I mean, if I forget that it's Aquafina, I will say that I don't want to. I don't care. So anyways, I'm scooch Scuttle over. Fuck that bitch. God bless us all. Oh, I'm tired of AAVE and black people culture being taken and used as some kind of costume. Like, we didn't scrape to build this culture out of slavery and stuff like that. I take pride in the things that we built out of slavery. We could have just assimilated into Whitelandia and we all could be brown nosing and kissing these white people's ass and trying to be like white people. But no, instead we've still been able to manage to build some kind of culture for our own outside of it, and everybody and their mama want to take it and use it and see it as a joke and do whatever the fuck they want with it. It's not respected amongst other people within the world. It's seen as entertainment or comedy. When we speak in AAVE, are we dress a certain way? Are we hype each other up? It's taken, that our slang is seen as Gen Z slang. Not AAVE. It's seen as Generation Z slang by these white people. No. That's some shit that people's grandparents were saying in the South in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s and the 60s. This is shit that people just talk to each other in general because that's how we talk. This is not some white people slang that teenagers are using. It's fine. I'm going to go on a whole rant. It's going to be a whole thing. Let me shut up. But you know what I mean? So anyways, we're going to forget that Scuttle was even fucking there. And anyway, so she on the boat. She just like, oh, I got legs and da-da-da. So they help her to the land. And this is what got me. I'm just like, is this just a country full of superly nice people? Because why would he take her straight to the palace? Usually, like, you can't even get... I wish the fuck I would have an accident near the White House. Car accident near the White House, and the CIA see me and be like, oh, let's take her in and let the president handle. Maybe if I was Beyonce. So I was just like, why are they just taking this strange girl to the castle? Like, people can assassinate people and stuff like that. And this whole time, Prince Eric has been... So basically, they made Ariel's voice a siren. So that's her little magical power situation. I don't know, though. Like, in the... Because in the show, like, the show reveals more about Ariel and her life. So, and, like, how she was underwater and things like that. So I don't know if what you call it? Oh, if they like mentioned any power. So we had this thing. I don't know if there's Gen Zs watching this shit, but we had this thing in the 90s and early 2000s called, like, it was like Disney Channel cartoon situation where they played Goof Troop, and I think it was on Thursday afternoons and shit. And they played like the Aladdin show. So they made a TV cartoon show. I don't even know if it's on Disney Plus though. They should put that shit on Disney Plus. I was binge watch that shit. There was a TV show for Aladdin. And there was a TV show for the Little Mermaid. I think that was it. Yeah, Aladdin, Little Mermaid. I don't think Beauty and the Beast, they tried to like have little, like, she had like the story reading show for the little kids on what is it, the little kid Disney. And then she had these little short clip type shows and stuff, but they didn't really like do anything with Beauty and the Beast, because I mean, there's not much you can do once she's with the Beast. It's like, I guess you can do it before the Beast, but all she did was walk around and read and shit and try to avoid Gaston trying to rape her. Shut up. Shut up. So there was a show for Little Mermaid, and she would go on all these adventures. Oh, there was Timon and Pumbaa, and then I think there was one other one. But whatever, she was on the show, and so I don't know if they may have revealed like what they may have revealed in the show, like they may have revealed in the show, because that's canon too, because that's her before she came to the prince and whatever. And so I don't know if they may have revealed like her voice is a siren voice or not in a show, but I know they didn't say that shit in the movie. I could be wrong, but I don't remember them saying nothing about her voice being no siren shit in the movie. But in this movie, the updated version, they turned her voice into a siren voice. And so that means that her voice can heal, apparently, when he was drowned and she got him on the beach and, she breathed air into him and shit like that. She started singing her little song. Ooh, I can't do it because it's not. She, that's what brought him back to life. And then they kept mentioning her siren voice. So, basically, that's what Ursula took, was her siren voice. And so she get on the land and they take her to the castle and she's sitting up in the castle and they don't know what to do with her. And so she looking at around everything. And basically Ursula tricked her and put in a little situation, a spell that she can't remember nothing about the kiss. And so she don't know she's supposed to kiss this nigga. She just know that she there. And I think she just know that she there for 3 days. So she like is in there, and then like they take her upstairs, they give her a bath, she tries to eat the brush and things like that. And so she's like in the castle now, and then they call Eric in because Eric has been looking for this girl because her siren voice woke him up, brought him back to life, and he's gonna marry the girl when he meets her. So excuse me. So Eric comes running because they call him because they think she the girl, and then Eric's trying to talk to her, but she like, and then they like, oh, she can't talk. And Eric's like, oh, it's not her then. Oh, well. And then walks off. It's like, but she's pretty. it's so because this bitch saved you on the ocean and like you can't even. I'm tired. So anyways, she's just like chilling in the castle, and Sebastian and Flounder are there. And she chilling in the castle, and then like she started exploring the castle, and so they gave them something else to have in common. He collects a bunch of treasures, and his whole little library situation looked like her treasure trove, and so they got another connection, and he wants to explore the world and learn about stuff. And so they just spend hours in his little treasure trove library situation going over maps and learning things and shit like that. And then his little butler situation at the castle sees them in there, and he tried to hook them up and shit. Like he's like kind of stuffy, but he's a nice person. He wants the prince to act like, like a prince, but the prince is wild. He want to like do stuff and build things and whatever and explore stuff and whatever the fuck. And so, but I could see the queen's like hesitation for him to be having all these adventures and stuff, because one, there's been a lot of shipwrecks at their island. I guess, the fishes or the mermaids and things have either been destroying the ships or the ships are destroying themselves because they were mad about the shipwreck at the bottom of the ocean. So why would they be causing the shipwrecks if they didn't want the shipwrecks at the bottom of the ocean? So maybe it's just a haphazard thing, a haphazard area. So she thinks the sea gods is gonna kill him. She ain't got no other heirs, it seems, around. When you have a kingdom, you need to have an heir for the kingdom so that somebody can rule the kingdom after you die. So I can see why she would be hesitant to have him just trolling around the earth with no idea if he lives or dies. And hopefully, look at Tarzan's parents. They just disappeared, and his parents from Frozen. They just disappeared. They said that they might be siblings and shit, and Tarzan might be their kid, but that's one of them like fan fiction situations and shit. Who knows? And so, like I said, I watch a lot of Disney. I'm not saying they not an evil empire. I'm just saying I watch a lot of Disney. It's the comfort. And evil empires can make some shit that comforts you. At least if I acknowledge that they're evil, then, I won't fully fall into the trap. There you go. That's all I can say. And so anyways, they just, the butler is like, he's trying to low-key get them together. So the next day they plan to go on a carriage ride to the lagoon. That's where they're going to see, kiss the girl and all this other shit. And so they get on a carriage and they end up in a little village situation, and she just exploring all over the village. Everything is wonder and magical. She just plays this magical little fairy person so well. And I just feel like that's because she's an Aries, and that's what Aries are. They're like these, I keep saying they, like I'm not an Aries. Like, and she shouted out the Aries, bitch. Wait, let me just, yes, she did, because she's an Aries and I'm an Aries, and she shouted out the Aries in the movie, and it's just, it was kismet, you know, it was kismet for me. I feel like, yes, God. And so we have this tendency to be very childish and whimsical and magical and things and come off like that way. And then we got this bitch underneath that if you fuck with me, I'm gonna hurt you. And you can see it in her when you talk shit about her sister. So when you talk shit about her sister, she will come for your neck. You've seen it in posts. She doesn't give a fuck. Like, I think she's scarier than her sister. Really, I could tell. Okay, if you make her turn the shit on, she's going to hurt you. And I love it. It's magical, because that's how I am. Like, when I'm truly feel safe and relaxed in my environment, I am very just childish. I'm not like what she was doing, but like I'm just very childish and full of wonder and excitement, and just like I don't have to think too hard. And so I'm just like really relaxed and just childish. And so, you know, but then if you make me think too hard, you make me have to, like, you probably will never see it on here because I have to actually think to do this because I'm fucking drunk. But yeah, so I got it, and I was just like, oh, she played this part. It was magical. And so anyways, she went around looking at everything. It's a Caribbean type village, so it's a lot of people of color and things like that. And it was magical that they did that. They made this into the Caribbean, so they fleshed that out. Where's the island? What is it? We never know. Not even in the second movie. Now, it's some kind of Caribbean island. They never name it, even though they were looking at maps of all the other countries and things around them, but they never name what the fuck the island is. He just pulls the map out and he goes, this is our island. Like, you ain't gonna say what the name of that. You could have you fleshed out every, why wouldn't you give, you know what, because you're gonna have people trying to make up fan theories and shit about some shit that ain't even that big of a deal to Disney. Or they might mention it in the sequel. Who knows? So anyways, they running around the island, they having a good time, and then it gets to dusk, and then she get on the carriage and they go to the lagoon, and the Flounder and Sebastian, you know, sabotage them to get on the boat. And then Sebastian starts singing the song. I'm not acknowledging that, but I don't care. And it was good. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't the original. Because the original hit this low every time he sang. This was more like of a smooth. And it just kind of stayed the same. And maybe like a little dip. You know, but this nigga was like, I can't do it. It's just different. Sang the song and all this other stuff. And I didn't think that Ursula was going to come to the top, because I was like, did they change it? Did they not have Vanessa? And because she was like, when Ariel left, she was just like, oh, well, I put the thing in the spell, so she ain't gonna remember, so now I just gotta sit back and wait. So I'm just like, oh, okay, so Ursula not coming to the top. So I was just like, well, are they gonna just kiss now? Because Ursula is chilling. Like, she liked the hair, the turtle in the hair. She liked the hair. She taking a nap. I was like, she don't care. But no, Ursula ain't that stupid. So they in the boat, and you know, yeah, they see her, all the things, or he sees her, whatever the fuck, and they just about to kiss in this pretty, beautiful, romantic, fairy type situation that, it's magical, just magic. It was, and then they had the fish with the lights under the boat, just to be able to see that live. They did that. They did that, nigga, because in the cartoon it's beautiful, but no, to see it live in the boat, and she had the little outfit situated, girl, and then they almost kiss, and then here come Flotsam and Jetsam, flip the boat just like in the movie. And so Ursula been watching. At least she was watching at the lagoon. Maybe she saw them walking around or something. I don't know, but she knew. So I'm gonna have to assume she been watching, and she didn't expect her to. But the bitch ain't ugly. The bitch ain't ugly. The bitch got a personality. Why wouldn't you think a nigga wouldn't want to look at her and like interact with her? And niggas don't like what bitches to talk in the first place. So like, why wouldn't you think, like, that's what he said in the Lionberry Treasure Trove situation. He was just like, oh, well, you know, everybody talks too much anyways. Niggas don't want bitches to talk anyways. Why wouldn't you think that he would try to get him some of that. What is wrong with you? He shut up. So anyways, Blossom just with the boat. And Ursula finds out, and then Ursula turns into Vanessa. I didn't think they was gonna have Vanessa. I was just like, and she was just as basic and plain as the original Vanessa, just brown hair, you know, voluptuous, you know, but like basic. And comes the stairs, and she basically, like, you know, just like in the original, you know, tricks him. And so they get back to the palace that night, and she's just floating on the air. She thinks Nigga loves her, and she's gonna get a kiss any moment. And you know, she don't know about the kiss, but she's gonna get a kiss any moment. And she's just so happy. And then she's sleeping, and the next morning she's told that this nigga is gonna propose to somebody today. She just don't know who that somebody is. So she goes downstairs to see who that somebody is. She think that somebody is her, but it ain't her. It's this brown haired voluptuous bitch. And Eric is just standing there like dazed and confused because he's like, you know, hypnotized, I guess, either by some spell she put on him or the siren song in the necklace. Some shit keep floating up from the necklace and into his eyes and shit. So I'm thinking it's the siren song in the necklace. But he can't just be attracted to the song. He attracted to the girl. And so, you know, they about to get engaged. So they changed it from they getting married that day to that we're having an engagement party today. And so the butler's confused. The butler thought he was gonna get with Ariel and all this other shit. And so Sebastian Ariel runs off and all this other shit. And so Sebastian and Flounder have to find Ariel. And they took out the scene with the cook trying to cook Sebastian too. And I'm just saying, I wouldn't have disliked the scene. I mean, I know it's wrong, but it was fun. And I like to eat. And they did that for Peter. That's all I want to say. They did that shit for Peter. Because I was just like, because he was cooking other crabs in the kitchen too when he was about to cook Sebastian. And I would have liked to see the other crabs that were being sauteed and, you know, drizzled butter and lemon and shut up. I love crab. No, because like crab has its own kind of seasoning or something in its flesh. Like lobster is bland. I don't care how much I put on lobster, how much seasoning is on lobster. When you get to the middle of the bite, it's bland. Crab is just got some kind of like flavoring in it. Like by itself. Like I had crab. You know, when you go to them cheap ass Vegas buffets and you know that they didn't really season the boiling water when they made the crab because it doesn't have the extra flavors, but it's still flavorful. It's still got, it's like, I don't know if it's salty. What is it? It's magical. So I would not have disliked that scene. And Peter, you can come Peter don't know about me. I don't care, vegetarians and vegans, you can come for me. I don't care. I like meat. I like to eat meat. I know it sounds wrong, but I don't give a fuck. That's how much I love meat. I don't care that it sounds wrong because like I'm a connoisseur of a good steak. You know what I mean? Like the best steak I ever had was in Japan. I'll mention it occasionally. I don't care. I'll keep mentioning that shit. This shit was magical. Kobe beef. Nigga, it felt like you was eating some kind of fluffy meat that was also juicy and crispy at the same time and tasted like air and seasonings. That's all I can explain it. And I found a place in Santa Monica, the steakhouse, that it comes close to it. It's not exactly it, but it comes close. Nigga, I be taking myself. I treat myself. It's like $75 an ounce. That shit is expensive, but it's worth it. It is. You know, maybe I can only get about 3-4 ounces, but I sit there and I'll cut each sliver off like, no, because you're not eating it to get full. You're eating it purely for the flavor. One day, I'll be able to afford a 12 ounce, 16 ounce. No, that's why when niggas be talking about, I'm not going to take you out on a date, I'm not going to feed, but that's my love language. And so off top, you not trying to give me my love language is a turn off. I be sitting there like, no, because I'm a food connoisseur. I pray to God to send me a husband that's a cooking artist, because it takes an artist to make good food. And that is not my medium. I do not cook because that's not my medium. It never turns out tasting the way it's supposed to taste. And I never enjoy it. I just feel like it's not my medium. It's like if you sculpt. No, because you still kind of have to draw in order to sculpt. Let me see. If you enjoy painting, you're not a molder with your hands and shaper with your hands. You like to paint. And niggas is telling you like, no, you need to sculpt. Sculpting's where it's at. You're a woman, so you should know how to sculpt. And you just looking at them niggas like, that's not my medium. Like, I don't like fucking sculpting. What are you talking about? That's how I feel about cooking. My medium is photography. My medium is watching cartoons. My medium is eating really, really good food. You know, I will provide favors. I'm not going to tell you what kind of favors, because you don't even be knowing all this on the internet, but I will provide favors for a good meal. You know, and you doing the boyfriend, husband thing, of course, all the shit. That's not just it, because you can't cook a good meal and hit me in the face, nigga. I will stab you in the neck. So, don't think that, oh, that's just all it takes. No, nigga. I just have to have $1 million trillion and that's all. No, nigga, because you're not about to kill me and bury me under your fucking mansion and when nobody ever finds me, nigga. You're crazy. So it's a package. I'm just saying though, like, I wouldn't have disliked if they had just kept that scene, but I can understand how it may, and seeing it in real life, scare some I'm talking scaring children. I'm over here talking about show them bleeding tattoos. Something's wrong with me. It might scare, but you know, I was made on some sterner shit. Like, I'm not saying, because then I sound like them boomers and shit. Like, oh, we were made out of tougher stuff back then. And I'm not saying children should suffer and not have, you know, luxuries and peace in their life. I'm just saying, like, the way I learned to have peace was by learning what not to do. And sometimes instead of experiencing it in real life, what not to do, all it took was me watching it on a movie or somebody just telling me about it or me reading about it in order for me to not do it. And then that was it. Like, it is what it is. So, but I guess that's not really a learning thing. That's like a beloved character live action. In real life, it look like it's real life. Them kids 6 and younger don't understand CGI. Almost being cooked by something. Maybe they have a deleted scene for the adults. Shut up, bitch. You sound stupid. Oh well. And so Ariel is told by Sebastian and Flounder that the bitch is marrying her nigga, and it's the evil queen from the ocean. So she gets up and start running and shit. And I'm just like, there's cliffs, the beach, the little rock situation in the ocean she was laying on, right? How'd she get there that fast? On some new legs that she ain't never walked on before. And you seen when he was walking down a cliff singing his little ballad. And at first I was like, oh, we don't need this white man singing and shit. But then he really got into it and I was like, okay, Eric. He was doing it. But like, how you seen them cliffs, right? You had to jump, skip, hop. So do a little parkour situation to get back up them motherfuckers. Maybe there was some stairs. Maybe that was a section of cliffs where there was some stairs, because that would make sense. So that's what it's gonna be in my head. She get up there and she snatch her necklace off this bitch, and then like she about to kiss Eric just like in the cartoon. And it's too late, the sunset, and her fins come out, and then like they go into the ocean, and then Ursula get big and she stab Ursula with the boat. I don't know how she got the boat positioned so perfectly to stab her so deeply, but she did. Like how she got the boat from the bottom of the ocean to up on top of the water, positioned it perfectly, never drove a boat in her life. Like I know they had the seahorse races and shit. Like that's why she was good on the carriage. That's why she could roll the carriage and shit, because in the show, in the Little Mermaid show, they would have seahorse races where they would have this big ass shell attached to this giant cryptid seahorse. And they would race around just like the Romans and shit. And so that made sense. But you bitch, you don't know how to drive a boat. But apparently she does. So, no, because once the boat is sunk, you can spin the wheel and look cute and shit, but you ain't gonna raise the boat from the ocean. So the tornado situation must raise the boat from the ocean. I don't know how she twisted that motherfucker around to get and stab that bitch, but she did it. And the bitch went in the water. Eric almost drowned. She got him out. Dad came back to life. Dad was sorry and da-da-da. But he wanted her to come back to the ocean and was like, this is why you can't be with them niggas. And I'm just like, well, it wasn't them. It was Ursula, but go off, nigga. So now Eric and her are miserable in their separate quarters and shit. He upstairs, she downstairs, and Trident feels bad. He feels like, I guess, she's like unhappy or whatever. I mean, like, she's 15. Like, if this was my child and this nigga was 21, they said his age. And don't come for me if I didn't hear her age and they said 18. She was 15 in the original movie. She was 15 in the original story. This girl is 15. 2 out of 3. 15. So, he feeling upset, and then Trident feeling bad, and he like, But like I said, if it was my child, I'd have been like, here's what. Since you're a child still, if you still want to be with this nigga when you 18, you do what you want to do. But until then, this nigga's not welcome anywhere near you, or I will call the police. And then what's going to happen is he's going to be a sex offender. Do you want him to be a sex offender? You got 4 years. It's enough time to learn about yourself, have a good time. And if he still wants you, you know what? He going to be older, so he probably going to want you. But then that's your time to learn and make that mistake of realizing that he may have just been a predator because you're 18, because you're so adamant. No, because you're so adamant. And you're crying and you're screaming and you wanted it. You're so adamant. Then you can do what you want to do at 18. But until then, that nigga anywhere near you, I'm calling the police. The end. And you can't force kids to do shit. Now they could sneak out. They could keep seeing this nigga. But the thing is, I'm gonna let that nigga know. If you cut, cause I'm gonna give a chance. I don't even want to do that. No, if it was my child, I would just off top call the police. Let me not lie. Sit up here like, cause I'm thinking in the context of a cartoon. It's 1891 or some dumb shit, and that shit is normal. We're still like quite a distance from ancient Greece where they was just doing it in the street to little children, but it's still normalized to be marrying children. And I'm thinking in the context of that. But no, if it was some today shit and it was my child, I just call the police. No, because you're not going to touch my child. And then I would just put my child in therapy. There's some things you have to force the hand. There's just some things you have to force the hand. I'm not about to sit up here knowing that my child is being sexually whatever. They don't know what the fuck they want when it comes to that situation in an adult. They don't know what that adult's going to probably try to manipulate them into, because it's a cycle. Everything is cycles around. So it's all going to be the same thing. A predator is just going to do the same thing over and over and over again, no matter who's experiencing the predator or what predator it is, they're going to do the same thing. It's a pathology. So, no, I would just call the police. If this was like real life, no. No, nigga. No, because I know the psychological ramifications of what can happen to somebody that is doing sexual things with an adult, that is being sexually abused by an adult at any age, even above 18. Like somebody that's in their 30s date to 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old. You don't know yourself still. You don't know like what you want in the world. You're just learning who you are as an adult. I feel like most of your 20s is like a second adolescence because it's your first time being alone and living your life and having responsibility for your life. For most of us, rich people, they do what they want with their children. But for most of us, like, we went to college, we did our own things, we separated from family and we figured it out. Then we came back for the summer and shit. And then for some of us, the parents just kicked them out the house because they ain't good parents. Like, you don't just kick your kid out the house. You let them live their life and figure themselves out and shits before they leave. So it's your time to just figure yourself out as an adult. You got this 30-something, 40-something year old coming into your life while you try to figure yourself out and just derail that whole process. Now your whole life is about this adult and his problems and how those problems involve your life. And your life starts to shrink and their life starts to grow. And it's just some bullshit. But no, I'll call the police. The end. She was 15. He was 21. Y'all niggas is tripping. I wouldn't be all yelly and emotionally abusive like her daddy. I'll just calmly say, you are a child. I'm not a child, Mom. No, I'm not. You are a child. And I am not going to allow this. And so I will be calling the police on this person. And, because I've seen so many, like, For My Mans. The true crime where they show how women can be manipulated into doing crimes and things for their man, or they just do it just because they are a willing party and everything, and they do it just because they're not even being manipulated, or they're the ringleader. Let's leave it open because I've seen episodes of all the types. And, I've seen those episodes where you tell the little teenagers they can't be with the adult nigga, and so they try to kill you. I seen this one yesterday. She burnt her grandparents' house down to the ground because they told her to abort the baby that the 25-year-old had implanted in her 15-year-old body. And, they said abort the baby or we're going to call the police on him. That was her only options. And she planned with her boyfriend to burn the house to the ground, and she did, and she killed both her grandparents. So because of those things, and you never know, like, by that point, if the child is already, in this situation with this adult, you never know what kind of mental health issues and blindness may arise from that type of trauma. We would just we're not waiting for no plans and weird shit. I'm going to skip town for a month. Call the police, make sure he's in jail. All this other stuff. Then I'm skipping town for a month. Make sure he's safely in jail. And then we'll go back home. And we'll keep an eye on her. And she's going to be in therapy and all this other stuff. Getting fixed from what that man did. And then, we're going to have family therapy because somewhere I dropped the ball. Somewhere I wasn't paying attention, and because of that, situations happen. And so, we're gonna do family therapy. We're gonna work through this situation. We're not just gonna leave it there with him in jail and everything's fine. No, she's going to therapy. We're going to family therapy. We're gonna work through this shit, and then she's gonna be fine. No, Ariel, you will be fine. We're going to work out this brainwashing that this grown-ass man did to you. Yes, God. And you will be fine. Yes, you will. Yes, Lord. You will heal. You'll learn about yourself. You'll grow. You'll experience life. And you will be fine. Care. So, I'm not trying it. I don't care if it's 1891, 1991, 2001, 2021, nigga. I'm calling the police. 1891, they on some deserted isle, some shit. He may just end up missing, because he's the prince. So you can't call the police on the prince. He just may end up missing. I don't know how he's going to end up missing. He just may end up missing. Daddy be mad. She be mad at daddy. Just like, be like, he was molesting. Like, if you want to go above land, like, cool, let's do it. Let's I figured I'd work through it. But you're not going to I'm not going to have you be molested under my watch. See, I tried. Earlier, I was just like, in the context of the movie, but nah, nigga, no, you was a grown up. Why would a 21-year-old want to fuck around with a 15-year-old? What do you have in common mentally? Like, think back to when you were 21. And then think back to when you were 15. Do those two mindsets match? When I was 21, I got drunk enough to pass out on the ground. When I was 15, I was holed up in my room reading romance novels. Tell me, does that correlate? Does that, does it match? No, it's just, reading romance novels, watching Nickelodeon that's told by Ginger, looking at the cute boys in high school thinking, I would like one, but I'm too anxious, so. I was 21, I was just like, let's go to the club, let's have a drink. Still anxious, but, it was a different, no. I'm reading books occasionally and shit, but like, no, I'm not doing whatever, 15. Now that's the shit I would wreck some shit over. I don't care. And they'll think it's controlling and whatever, and I'm a horrible parent, but no, nigga, you're 15. You got me. So anyways, because if you got to bring up the bad stuff. You got to bring up the stuff that's just like, in real life, that would not go together. Maybe they did say her age, she was 18, but I said 2 out of 3, she 15. So anyways, they's depressed, and then so King Triton let her go back to land. What was the point of even the pointing the light from the trident? What was the point? Like, y'all could have just let her walk on land. Like, y'all didn't even have to show that part. She could have just showed up behind a nigga. Like, oh God. Them raggedy ripped up dressing. Raggedy ripped up dressing. Raggedy ripped up dressing. We went from gold and beauty to raggedy ripped up dressing. It's fine though. It was a good movie and I enjoyed it. They ended up getting married and selling the seas, and Trident gave his blessing, and all the mer people showed up, and it was a magical experience to behold. And Halle looked great underwater, above water, all this other shit. The scene, it could have been brighter. The water could have been brighter. Like, Avatar just look like daytime underneath the water and shit. Like, I just feel like you ain't gotta be that realistic where everything, like, even in Black Panther 2, like, it was like darkness underneath the water. Like, everything don't need to be realistic. I need to be able to see what's going on. Like, the scene under the sea was vibrant, but imagine if it was vibrant, and people keep talking about her fucking hair and shit. Who fucking cares? They did amazing things with the CGI in her hair underneath the water. She popped up out that motherfucker and did that backflip with her fucking hair and damn near broke her neck. She said that took 20 takes and somebody had to push her up every time. You got me fucked up. She did amazing things. They did amazing things with her hair and shit. They wrapped them dreads and, the fuck, it was Ginger. So, like, it was a good movie. I don't got nothing really bad to, I've been finding things, but I ain't got really nothing bad to say about the movie as a whole. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. See, that's high. No, you took that dress. You took that dress away. You took that dress away and it was wrong. was iconic, and you took it away from us. If y'all don't make a motherfucking deleted scene right now and post that motherfucker somewhere with that motherfucking dress coming up out the water in real fucking life, it's not fine. I'm not okay. But whatever. There's nothing I can do. This is just some person talking. But like, it was good. It was good. It was good. I like how things flowed together. Even the extra added pieces, it wasn't doing too much. Because like when movies add extras or they want to change some big major part of the story and you just like, what the fuck is it? No, it made sense. Like, you can't just get together because you think the nigga's cute. Like, you're risking your whole life for a nigga because he's cute. Give like even though the reasons weren't like, still wasn't good enough for me. Like, oh, y'all like to travel and y'all like, feel trapped. That sounds like trauma. Like, you just, because you feel trapped, you want to feel free together. Like, that sounds like some trauma you need to work through before you with somebody. Whatever, girl. And shit like that. That's probably, and so it was a good movie. And I'm going to watch it again when it's on Disney Plus, because I'm not paying another $20. I know, but when it's on Disney Plus, if you stream it over and over again, they still get paid, nigga, so don't come for me. Niggas going back to the movies 3-4 fucking times, spending like $100-$200 and shit. I don't care. Oh, I forgot I had that free pass, though, but I might see something else. Oh, I could see Spider-Man into the multiverse with that, because when we was watching it, I was watching the early release one, so I saw it on Wednesday, and they was having trouble with the 3D. Like, we was sitting there and looking, and it looked off. Like, the background was blurry, and the thing wasn't coming out the screen, and so I was thinking something was wrong. I was like, my glasses, and so they come into the movie theater, and they're like, oh, the 3D's broken. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you guys, a free pass and shit. I'm going to use that to see Spider-Man. See? Blessings on blessings on blessings. Yes, God. I would have liked to have a cash refund, but it was fine. See, there you go. It was a good movie. Hallie did a good job. Yes, she did. That child, they're going to come for her, them white people. And they're going to hate that we came in droves to see this shit. And I hope it do break the box office or whatever the fuck. And I hope them white people mad. Stay mad and die. Whenever you're supposed to die one day. Stay mad and die. There you go. Because that's what it is. It is what it is. You can't be mad because you have to see people of color and black people as human beings. You can't be mad. You can't be mad. Like, you should have been seeing us as human beings. What's wrong with you? Tired. Exhausted. These white people and their shenanigans. Well, anyways, let me know what you think of this review. I might take a break some more. I don't know. But it is what it is. Like, people need to get tired. But whatever. So, but let me know what you think of this review. And later days.